next year. However, we'd like to thank her for many years of dedicated service, and more importantly, congratulate her on her retirement, because I think she may have her hands full. But we'd like to congratulate you. Please come on up. One final announcement, reminder, as I talked about the weather, due to the mild winter, school will not be in session this coming Friday due to us not using all of emergency days. So we look forward to a calm and end of the year, the next 2 weeks, and great end of year ceremonies.
Okay, I have no report. Committee reports? Any committee?
Okay.
I would ask athletics meeting before the next meeting to discuss the policy change. It's going to be approved finally tonight. Motion to approve the minutes?
Second.
Mr. Fowler? Yes. Mr. Fry?
Yes.
Yes.
Mrs. Nappy?
Yes.
Mr. O'Hare?
Yes.
Ms. Sherry?
Yes.
Mr. Mara? Yes. Motion to approve the consent agenda? Any comments from trustees on the consent agenda?
No, just one thing. The consent agenda has had the addition of 5 resolutions, 89P34, a physics teacher at the high school, 89P35, a math teacher at the middle school, 89P36, an elementary teacher at Traphagen, 89P37, an extended school year program appointment, and 89P38, additional hours for home instruction. So the consent agenda will be through 89P38.
Any comments from trustees on the consent? Any comments from the public on the consent agenda only? Seeing none, John, call the roll.
Mr. Fowler?
Yes.
Mr. Fry?
Yes.
Mrs. Mangler?
Yes.
Mrs. Nappy?
Yes.
Mr. O'Hare?
Yes.
Ms. Sherry? Mr. Mara?
Yes. Comments from the public on any subject? Just state your name, please.
Hi, I'm Ashley Bushkins. I'm a senior here at Waldwick High School. And I'd just like to address the situation with Mr. Mayor. And on behalf of every student athlete here at WHS and parents and everyone here in Waldwick, I just want to ask you to please reconsider Mr. Mayor, because on a day-to-day basis, I work with Mr. Mayor. I'm a 4-year 3-sport varsity athlete and captain. So working with Mr. Mayor throughout my 4 years here has been a daily occurrence. He's taught me the true meaning of being a student athlete and what it means to come to school, get my work done, and then go to sports after school, get on that bus, even if I have to do work on the bus. He always puts the students first and misses his own kids' games to be here for us. I can remember last year, May 1st, I got my 100th hit for softball as a junior, and Mr. Mayor was one of the first people down there cheering me on and congratulating me for my accomplishment. And the relationships that he has with students here is like no other. He has like a student-teacher relationship, but he's the athletic director, and that's why he's such a great athletic director. Every student here, if he sees him in the hallway, he'll say hello, how's your day going, this and that. Although I won't be here next year, I want him to be able to come back to Warrior Nation with the same enthusiastic and successful teams and seasons. I want him to be able to come back and help this school thrive in our sports and for the student athletes in school. And I just want to let you know, I don't know, in the mail you might have gotten some signatures. That's showing that all the students here at Waldwick High School want Mr. Mayor back, and we really hope you reconsider it because it would mean the world to us.
Thank you. Any other comments from the public?
Hi, I'm Amanda Powells. I'm a freshman, and I wanted to also reconsider Mr. Mayor's situation because even though I'm only a freshman and I've only known him for a few years, he's always been there for my older siblings, really everyone in my family who has gone through high school. And I know that even if like I'm in a situation or like there's something in my family, I can always go to Mr. Mayor and that he'll always help me and he'll always be there for me.
Thank you.
Michael Leonard, 24 Zazzetti Street, Waldwick. Can you tell us why Mr. Mayor's contract is not being renewed, other than hiding behind the infamous personnel decision?
It's just a public comment, sir. We're not allowed to discuss personnel in public.
You know what? People in Waldwick don't forget, and we weren't born under rocks, all right? There's a small group of people that are after his head. And there was a mistake made last year when a baseball coach was hired who had a track record longer than you would want to know. I know you know, but why is it being taken out on this man? He has a family to support. And you, of all people, Mr. Mayor, you should know. You work in the public sector. And you know what it's like. Thank you.
Mr. Leonard. Ed?
I want to know why, because me and Mr. Mayor haven't had the best relationship going through the years, but everything he did to me, I deserve. Act like an idiot, and he's going to get treated like an idiot. Well, let me tell you something. I want to know why the principal recommended him for rehire, the superintendent recommended him for rehire, 3 board members voted for his rehire, yet 4 guys, 4 of you voted against it. Okay? To me, that's 5-4. All right? I understand the principal and the superintendent don't get a vote. But if he's getting recommended by the 2 people who we entrust our children to, the superintendent and the principal, why isn't he being rehired? I think we should revisit the vote. The money's still in the budget. You should take another vote.
Thanks,
The
Ed.
public, you can see by the public outcry that we support this man and want him to be here as our athletic director in Walton.
Thank you.
To me, you're just arbitrarily not rehiring him. And I want to know one thing. Last year, he should have been up for tenure. Not this year, last year. Wasn't he up for tenure last year? Right? Last year was his 4th year as an athletic director, wasn't it? Why wasn't he off for tenure last year?
Thanks for your comment.
You can't discuss that?
No.
You gotta be kidding. What are we doing?
Listen, that's the advice of the state and the advice of the attorney.
Well, where's the attorney? We're
Public
paying the
comment.
attorney's salary. How come he doesn't come to these meetings?
He could come.
But you're not gonna answer them either. You guys are failing our kids.
You really are.
And
I mean,
you're failing us. You're failing
I'm
our
very
children.
disappointed in this school board, I'll tell you that right now.
Thank you.
We put our faith. We
Yeah,
put
yeah.
our
And you have
faith.
register to run for the Board of Education.
Yeah.
I want to know, can we discuss, who's up for re-election here?
I'm up.
I have 3
Enjoyed these
daughters.
last few weeks.
They will now be freshmen, seniors, and juniors. I've watched all 3 of my kids go through sports. Not that I love any one more than the other, but I've watched one push herself to limits she didn't even know she was capable of. And I don't think you guys realize how this all is going to affect the kids like Samantha, John McHugh, Rashawn Markman, all these kids that have busted their ass for themselves, for this school, for everybody. And you guys, who we're trusting to make these decisions, we send them to school with their coaches, with their teachers. We know they're okay. You guys are making this like a cockfight on who's going to win here, and our kids are suffering from that. How next year when we have someone new, then we have to train them, then we have to this, then we have to that. By then the year's almost over. Then what? Then who do I go to? Because the guy that sat down for an hour and a half with me one day, teaching me how to get my daughter to the next level. Well, now we're at the next level, now what? Now what do we do? Nothing. Because you guys don't want to give answers to anything, and I think that's so unfair. You failed every child here. You failed us as parents. We trusted you, and this is what happened. And I'm not happy about it.
Tina Scardino, 33 John Dow Avenue. I don't know if you can answer this question. Is Mike Mayer back on the agenda tonight?
The answer is no. Not at this time.
I'm under a rock.
Hi, my name is Lisa Kilgallen. I live at 43 Lincoln Place here in Waldwick. I have 3 children in our school system, and I'm here on behalf of every child who goes to the Waldwick schools and for all of those parents who were at the varsity dinner and all of the students, athletes who were there, because I was there chairing the dinner, and what happened at that dinner speaks volumes about this man. Every student, every parent stood up and gave him a standing ovation. Tears were streaming down people's faces. I don't know if any of you were there. I know 1 or 2 of you were, but I wanted to convey that to you. The spirit that was in that room was unbelievable. That doesn't happen by accident. That comes from hard work, dedication, that comes from touching people's lives. I'm here to ask you professionally, please reconsider putting him back up for vote. Please do the right thing. Please make the right decision.
Thank you. Any other comments from the public?
Jeff Boslacado, I'm the athletic trainer. Quite honestly, nobody spends more time with athletics than me, and if there's one person, it's Mr. Mayor. The only reason I'm here tonight is because I have the best interests of your children in mind. I'm here supporting Mr. Mayor because it is the best thing for your children athletically. I don't have any other responsibilities except for the health in all of those situations athletically. I don't have to teach, I don't have to coach. I am strictly the athletic trainer. I only worry about the athletic program, specifically their health. It has run very well over the last 5 years, and I think it would be a very bad idea to hire someone other than Mr. Mayor.
Thank you. Any other comments? Mr. Coombs?
So, Brian Combs, 125 Lindbergh. I don't have a dog in the fight. I don't know Mr. Mayor. I met him tonight for the first time. But here's what I can say, and it's similar to what you said. My wife is a teacher, so when I first saw the article that happened last month or whatever, a couple weeks ago, it said, when's the last time that a superintendent recommended someone for hiring or whatnot, and the Board of Ed voted against it? She said, I've never seen it. She's a teacher for 14 years now, 15 years. So then I read into the articles that were published, and it said that he's been doing this job for 4 years, but somewhere along the lines his job description or job title was changed. So it doesn't pass the smell test. Something is messed up about that situation. He should have had tenure or been up for a tenure vote last year. The fact that you guys strung him along like this, that's not right. If you were not planning to give him tenure, he should have been cut loose last year, not after 4 years, because something's not right, and you either owe him the right to another vote, or you owe the public in this room an explanation. If you look in this room, I see 20 students here. Do you realize how hard it is to get students to show up and be involved in civic duties on a school night in the springtime when they're caring about their summer jobs, vacations, friends, social media, whatever it is? I haven't heard one person say, we agree with the board. Everyone says we support Mr. Mayor. So 4 people at this table made a vote that I believe is the wrong one, and you really should reconsider that. And the fact that you're not tonight, that's a sad state. And that's all I wanted to say. Like I said, I don't know him, I don't have a dog in the fight, but looking at this room, everybody who does, I haven't heard a bad thing said about him.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Any other comments from the public? Yes, sir. Mr. McGee.
Mike McGee, Waldwick High School class of 1997. Again, thank you for the opportunity here. As I had mentioned in my email, I hope you all received it. I spent a lot of time and research composing that email. Just a couple points I'd like to touch upon. If you feel like cutting me off, there's another Mike McGee standing right next to me, so you can take, get a lot of time. I'll just pass my phone around. That works. I understand that the Waldwick Board of Education recognizes the value of public comment on educational issues and the importance of allowing members of the public to express themselves on school matters of community interest. I thank you for the opportunity to express my support of Mike Mayer at the May 13th, 2019 board meeting, and again this evening. One thing that I've always loved about the Waldwick community is how the Waldwick community rallies during times of adversity, especially when a vital member of the Waldwick community is facing that adversity. The biggest takeaway for me from that May 13th meeting, as well as tonight, is that Mike Mayer is absolutely, without question, a vital member of the Waldwick community. I was extremely proud to see the overwhelming turnout of support for Mike Mayer, a positive impact on current Waldwick students, but is teaching and making a positive impact on Waldwick High School graduates from nearly 22 years ago. This means so much more to Mike Mayer than just his livelihood. Waldwick Warrior Nation is his life. Thank you in advance for reconsidering the proposal to table that vote tonight and to reconsider putting it back on the agenda for this evening, if you can do. Hopefully you can. Please just do the right thing. We talk all the time to our kids, to our students, about ethics. You were elected to follow a code of ethics. Please do the right thing here. Thank you.
Cruz, 15 Cypress. No dog in the race, and I just met Mr. Mayor 10 minutes ago. So I don't envy the 4 board members who voted no. You guys are on the firing line tonight, and probably the last meeting I heard, I wasn't here. I have a question in relation to, is there any mechanism through which the reasoning behind those votes can be disclosed? Because I think that I know I work with lawyers and I work in the privacy sector, so I know that there are laws and rules that you guys are bound by. But is there a mechanism, a pathway through which the community can learn the reasoning behind those votes? Because seems to be a conflict of trust or an issue here with the community maybe hearing one reason for the votes, whereas the truth may be something completely different. And I think maybe if we can reconcile those two things, we can get some understanding. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other comments from the public?
You gonna answer his question?
No, it's public comment. Sorry.
I'll go. George Tenza, 70 Grove Street, Waldwick. Been involved with athletics for a while here. 3 children in town in the school system. Also a member of a board in town for over 15 years. As part of that board, no matter whether we're voting to approve or deny, we always provide a reason, no matter how clear-cut it is. It's a short vote, approval, denial. We owe it to the applicant, we owe it to the people that are for it and against it to let them know why we voted the way we did. I understand personnel decisions are protected, but I think the main intent for those to be protected are in the interest of the applicant themselves or the person affected. If Mr. Mayor didn't have an issue with this issue being discussed or the reasons for his dismissal to be voiced, I think the board should consider it. I don't know if you told Mr. Mayor, in my line of work, and 99% of the folks here, if they get dismissed from their job, they have to get a pretty good reason why they're dismissed. Otherwise, they're going to have quite a legal fight on their hands. You have a huge showing out here. I know these meetings get 2-3 people. Adam, and one of them is a guy complaining that no one comes out to meetings. So these folks put you in office. You represent us. So I recommend that you reconsider it. I know it sets precedent, so you don't want to go back on your decisions, but I think you owe it to the folks in this room and the people that put you in office. Thanks.
Thank you. Yes, ma'am.
Hi, Karen Sticko, owner of the Traffic Side. I have 2 kids that are going into middle school and soon high school. And how are we supposed to trust you? How are we supposed to trust the Board of Ed when you make decisions like this and don't give us answers? We need to know what's going on. You can just make decisions and change our kids' lives. And you don't have to tell us.
It's not that we don't want to tell you, we can't tell you.
No, you can't.
It's personnel issues that can't be discussed in public.
You're hiding.
I'm not hiding from
Somebody
nothing.
is hiding something, or else you would tell us.
No, I
Because there
can't
are
tell
100
you. I have no
people here
problem.
and in Waldwick that want to know
I have
what's
no
going
problems
on.
talking, trust me. I can't tell you. And for the record, I sat down, Mr. Mayor, so he could tell you.
You're losing our trust.
I'm sorry to hear that.
It's a very sorry thing. 'Cause
Thank you
I
for
love
your comment.
Waldwick and we all do, but
Thank you. Any other
can't
comments?
trust you.
Yes, sir.
Jay Stiggo. I'm also parent of Jade and Michaela. I work, as my background, I have a company that specializes in filming sports, so I'm in contact with a lot of ADs, coaches, parents, booster club, boards, you name it, and it's hard to find a good athletic director, believe me. It's a very hard position, with a lot of responsibility. It's almost impossible to please everybody. But from all the people that I know in the industry, I've heard nothing but praise. And it's shocking that you let someone go like that. You know, these guys are big influences on our kids. I have 2 kids that could be athletes coming through the system, and now maybe I'll send them to Bosco or Bergen. Maybe I don't want to keep them involved with them. If these are the kind of decisions that are being made, well, it's not right. It's not right, and there should be some transparency here. You can't hide behind, you're hiding behind and not letting us know.
Thank you. Any other comments?
My name is Nicole Hughes. I'm a senior. I played lacrosse for 4 years for varsity letters. I spoke at the last meeting also. I'm going to graduate in 9 days now, and after that I'm going to be going to the College of New Jersey where I'm studying secondary education and history. I hope that one day I would be able to come back and teach at Waldwick High School and be the teacher that changed my life, be that for the students here, because Waldwick means a lot to me, but now I'm not sure that I want to. Why would I come back to a school district that offers no job security for untenured teachers? I also just want to touch on the petition that Ashley Wishkins mentioned earlier. The petition is 5 pages long and it has over almost 200 signatures on it. Now, Waldwick's a small school. We have, 500 kids? I'd assume that that is almost every single student athlete who is here. Every single student athlete signed that petition, every single student who works with Mr. Mayor, and that just speaks volumes to who he is.
Thank you.
So I apologize for making this statement, and if it's wrong, please correct me. Reading the minutes of the vote, as I understood it, there was 1 or 2 board members that wasn't there when the vote first happened. But the vote happened, then there was a re-vote, and the vote was 4-3. And unless I'm miscounting, there's 8 members plus Dr. Casarico here. Is there a mechanism under which that vote can be reopened with all 8 members, and whoever that was that didn't vote has the opportunity to vote, and potentially maybe it becomes a 4-4 vote and no one has to change their vote?
I'm a non-voting member.
No, but there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
He's the business administrator.
That's what I apologize. Then I understand. I take that back. I thought everybody was a voting member. I apologize.
Mr. Burns?
Bill Burns, 117 Bergen Ave. I kind of was going to ask the same similar question. I'm not familiar. I hope you can answer it. Is there the potential, there was a vote cast, is there a potential for another vote? And if there's potential for another vote, will there be another vote? Is that something the board can answer?
I think I answered already, Bill. It's yes and no. Any other comments? Dina?
To say that tonight's decision is disappointing would be an understatement. I had hoped for so much different. I'm a big believer that life takes you down a path you're supposed to go down. I know Mike will land on his feet, no matter where he goes. This was a crossroad for him. It could have went one way or another, but I knew either way he went, he would be fine. But it's also a crossroad for you, for the board. You had the opportunity to change your decision, but chose not to. This board has made a decision that is going to affect our children for years to come in ways none of us understand yet. This decision is going to affect things you could never foresee because you don't work in the athletic program. As his former secretary, I can tell you, we are in for a wild ride. And I certainly hope you have someone in place so that our children don't get knocked around on this wild ride you have forced us all to get on. Some of the board members made encouraging remarks that seemed to indicate things would be done fairly and properly and move forward in the right direction. I now know those certain board members cannot and will be not trusted by me again. Many people warned me that it would be a mistake for me to trust, but it's in my nature to trust until you have proven otherwise, and you have. I always say, as long as you could sleep good at night with the decisions that you make in life, you're okay. So if the board members who decided against Mr. Mayor truly believe that they've done the right thing and can sleep well knowing that they haven't just ruined a man's life and hurt his family for no good reason, then I guess we have to accept that. Or maybe we don't. What we don't have to accept is the fact that you are on the Board of Education. This vote will not be forgotten. And the job that you ran for, hoping to make a difference in this town, is now stained by this decision. What was probably an honorable and worthy cause for you to run for the Board of Education. Something that you really wanted to do to help the town and influence education in this town has now been stained by a personal agenda, as it seems, because you can't discuss personnel. I know just by supporting him I've made enemies. Some of you are probably sitting in this room right now. But let me tell you a little something about myself. At the end of the day, if something went wrong, if something was just outright questionable and shady and was being done to you, and I knew you as well as I know Mike, I would fight just as hard to defend your honor. I sleep well at night knowing the kind of person that I am, knowing that I stand up for what's right and defend people who deserve a chance. I'm not sure that all of you can do the same. Mary Beth, Julie, and Andy, thank you for having the courage to stand up for what was right and not vote. Every kid in this room and every kid at home deserved better. No matter who you hire, Waldwick sports will never be the same. Not because of anything towards the new athletic director, but because you let a really great one go. And it just makes no damn sense.
Joseph Kelly, I'm a teacher and coach here at the middle school and high school. I have been in both of those capacities for 23 years. I have worked under a number of athletic directors, and no respect to Mr. Carroll from when you were there, the athletic director. Mr. Mayor is by far and away the best athletic director I've ever worked under. He cares about the kids, he cares about the programs, from the lesser, smaller programs, the middle school sports up to the varsity sports, the freshmen, everything he supports. To make this decision not only affects this man, it affects the school, it affects the community, and it sets us back. Whatever the outcome of this may be, and I sure hope to hell that when I come back in the fall, I see Mr. Mayor in his office, but whatever the outcome is, we have now put ourselves in a position where we are behind in hiring, if that's what we need to do. We are behind in setting our programs up for the fall, the winter, the spring. And frankly, given the show at the last meeting of all the athletic directors that were here, who are you going to get to come in and take this job if that's where we go from here? Who is going to, in their right mind,
Who would ever want to work here?
knowing that this decision, when you've hired people such as Mr. Carroll and Dr. Casarico to make decisions on personnel, and then go against those recommendations, what person is going to come in and see what has happened to Mr. Mayor and want to take this job? You've set the athletic program back, and we've made great strides in the last 5 years under Mr. Mayor. And I'm very sorry to see that this decision has still gone the way it was. I was hoping tonight would be different than the past two meetings. Disappointed that that's the way it's going to go.
Thank you. Any other comments?
Hi, I'm back again, I'm Amanda Powles. I just have a question, like if every student here and like everyone here is saying like we want Mr. Mayor here and that we feel really passionate about him staying and that we feel that like we have a bond with him that's like no other place. Like I really feel and every other student and every other student athlete feels that we can trust him and that like he not only does he get the job done, but like he's always there for us. And I just wonder why are you doing this if everyone here wants him to stay?
Any other comments? Mr. Leonard?
I presume that at some point this is going to come down to a lawsuit. And I hope that the 4 people that voted against Mr. Mayor dig into their pocket and pay toward it instead of the citizens of Waldwick have to suffer. Thank you.
Thank you.
Mike McGee, 84 Grove Street. I've been in town for almost 44 years. My son spoke earlier tonight. That 4 kids have gone through the system. They've all done well. Athletically and academically, very pleased with the town. I know this is like a public comment and there's really, the answers are not coming back from the board. But I'm sitting here, I was at the last meeting, I was at this meeting, I'm still confused in terms of can you at least shed some light if there is a path forward? Is this a done deal? Is there going to be any further vote in secret? Will you guys be convening again to meet and revisit this thing? Or is this over with?
Well, Mr. Mayor had his hearing this evening, and he has 3 days to get a response, correct?
Process.
There's a process. He has 3 days to get the response then.
Okay, so there is something going on.
Mr. McGee?
Does the fact that it was not put on the agenda tonight, does that mean anything in terms of that 3-day response that he's entitled to?
Not unless you're reading into it.
What was that?
Not unless you're reading into the response. He has 3 days to get the response. Any other questions?
Questions?
Comments. My mistake.
Questions.
Comments.
3 people who voted for him to stay aren't pushing to get another vote done.
Here's the bad thing, I support all these sports. I don't know where they're going to go without him.
Any other questions?
I'm Josh.
Comments?
I'm Josh
Just
Sheriff,
the-
138 Wolf Gap, and I am so happy you guys are here for Mr. Mayor because we are not stick and stone. We are a community. It is Pride Month, and we're doing this. I'm sick of it, and I mean all these people here come to vote, and I mean, like, and think of a lot of communities need petition. I mean, and also Leonard, good job because that was. I mean, this is our nation. We are strong, and it's just sickening. I'm tired of it.
Mr. Leonard?
One more. Not for anything, but these people have all been here speaking, and I see 2 members of your board have not listened to a word that was said. One has been reading a booklet, and the other one has been writing. So I think that you have a done deal. And I don't like it. I think it's dirty.
Thank you.
I'd also like to add to that. I just saw James Seaver, senior at Waldwick High School. I'd like to add to that. I just saw one of your members looking down at a phone, sending a text. So many of your members that have voted against this man have been just staring down in shame. If you have a problem with this man and you're at the Board of Ed meeting, please make eye contact with everyone speaking. don't have an issue. Like, if you have an issue with it, make eye contact with me. Don't stare down at yourself in shame. Well, it's just ridiculous. And to add on to what he said before about a former baseball coach, that's the only reason I've seen as to this man's non-rehiring. I think it's just ridiculous. I personally played baseball 3 years at this school. The 1 year I didn't play was when I thought you hired the wrong man. The man who should have been hired in this room, and you made the right decision this year. Not once did that coach go out of his way to try and get me to play. And the only time he spoke to me was during the season. I can tell you it was not a positive conversation, and someone else also had the same experience. Many people regretted playing for that man. He didn't even last 1 season. The only coach who spoke to me before the season was the man you hired, and he went out of his way to speak to me this year. I think it's just ridiculous, your decision.
Very new, I don't know her now, 3 daughters who came to the school, exceeded academically and athletically. My son is in school. I want to know how, before the said and done, would feel if a coach told your child to go F himself. And if your child wasn't even on the team. Tell me how you would feel. Tell me what you would do. Can I get an answer? At least we have your attention, Linda. Can I get an answer, please?
I'm going to answer it against the superintendent's report. This has nothing to do with a baseball coach, okay? That's all I'm going to say. I voted no for that guy, so I don't even want to hear it.
You can answer those questions, but you can't answer the other questions we keep asking.
It's not about a baseball coach, that's all I'm going to say.
No, it's about our kids.
It's not about a baseball coach. Any other comments? Yes, sir.
My name is Harrison Durant, and I'd like to go off with James.
Mr.
Leonard. Thank you, Kate. Looking at you guys up there, the attitude that you guys have and your blatant disinterest for the words that we're speaking sets an example for the kids in this crowd. All the parents here, they want their kids to grow up thinking that their opinions matter, right? Parents want their kids to feel like they're respected. And looking at the way you guys conduct yourselves up there, the way that you refuse to make eye contact with those talking, is very concerning. I think that it sets an example for us kids that our opinions might not matter in the future, and the way that you guys handle yourselves up there is very irresponsible, and I don't like what I'm personally looking at.
Thank you.
And just remember, most of you seniors are going to turn 18 this year, hopefully before November.
Mr. Carroll?
Yes, Mr. Mayor. Mr. Mayor, just on behalf of Waldwick High School and me, thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Any other comments from the public?
Just my last comment, I promise. Right, you have a guy here that is one of the most respected athletic directors, not just in Bergen County, but the entire state. You know, I'm sure he'll have schools coming after him, knocking on his door. And you know what he'd tell them? He said if he would never leave here, never leave here. He loves this school, and he loves these kids. So just please remember that over the next couple days. You have one of the best athletic directors and educators in the entire state of New Jersey here, and he loves it here, and everybody here loves him. So please, right the wrong. Thank you.
Any other comments?
I just want to say, I just want to say that this community is, I am so happy for this community. I think that they're really wonderful. I mean, but Mr. Mayor is the best guy. I mean, he did so much for me, especially, I see him in the halls. He's happy as it can be. And I'm a senior, and I think that the community has really just come together to do what they have to do. I mean, I would hate to be like the people in Franklin Lakes where we have to go out and strike, because we don't want that here. We're better and not embarrassing like that. So I just want to say that.
That we can come together as Warrior Nation, everyone together. You're all warriors up there. You're all from Waldwick. We all bleed the same color. We need to keep Mike in our town. I mean, it's you heard from everyone here. The last meeting we were at, you heard from my son. You heard from all of those people from all over. We need to keep him. There's no reason. You know, bad things happen. There's nothing bad that's happened. He's a good man with a lovely wife and 3 beautiful kids. I just don't think, I don't know where we have the right to just not give him a job for, I don't understand. It's 2 years now we've been doing this, so for 2 years now I'm not understanding it. And I will keep fighting for him, I will. I really hope that one person will flip their vote and do the right thing for our town. I hope. Thank you.
Any other comments?
Janice Moyer, 10 Cypress Court. I teach in Waldwick at Crescent School. I've had some of your kiddos in the class. It is a great place to work. It's a great place to be. We have a staff in Waldwick that's incredible. That's what this is all about. And we have a guy here who's all about the kids. And not just about the kids who are here at the present day. My son graduated last year, and he was away at college this year, and he had to do an assignment where he had to interview someone in the sports field. He sent one email to Mike. And he said, Mr. Mayor, could I interview for this class? And without hesitation, he said, absolutely, Bobby. What do you need? And they got together, they talked, he did the interview. My son got an A on the project. He could have not answered his emails. He could have said, oh, that kid's gone, I'm busy, I have everything I have to do here at the kids' school, but he didn't. He doesn't forget the kids. He remembers them, he holds on to them. He's always asking me how the kids are doing. And there's one thing that I tell my kids in my classroom every day, and I live by this because I've made a lot of mistakes in my own life. That's what you learn from me. So if for any little bit of an ounce that you have inside of you, that things just maybe the last time you guys voted, that it was a mistake, rectify it, makes you a stronger person, makes people respect you more. It's okay to make mistakes. Just please, I respectfully ask, you give them a chance, and you do a second vote, and fix the mistake.
Any other comments? Seeing none? Any
One
comments? Oh, I'm sorry, again, I'm sorry.
Please just remember these next 3 days, the tears, the smiles, all the words everyone has said today, the last 2 meetings. Please remember every single word that these people have spoken. Because we're here for Mr. Mayor. I have not heard one bad thing about him from any of the public. And you're supposed to be here for us. And if the public wants him, you should be at least be trying to re-vote for him. So please.
Any other comments from the public? Yes.
Our parents didn't elect you for themselves. They didn't elect you for you. They elected you for us, for the students, for all of us who can't vote yet. But right now you are not representing us. You are not listening to us. You are not portraying what we want you to portray. We showed you how much we believe in Mr. Mayor, the students of Waldwick High School, the students who work with him closely, who you are supposed to be helping. You're supposed to work for us, yet you aren't.
Thank you.
Yeah, I just have a public comment since that's what this is. Laura Weiner, 9 Hemlock Street, Waldwick, 46-year resident of Waldwick in class of 91, 3-sport athlete at Waldwick, and I have 3 children in the school district, 8th, 9th, and 12th. Really my comment is, I don't even remember who my AD was. Mike Mayer is memorable. That's all I got.
I just want to say that, like, without Mr. Mayor, like, my next, like, I'm just a freshman, but, like, my next 3 years were literally miserable because Mr. Mayor literally believes, like, Warrior Nation, and, like, Warrior Nation will never be the same if he's not here because he really impacts everyone.
other comments from the public? Yes, Mr. Burns.
Just one, it's more of a question, I'm not sure you can answer. I do not know Mr. Mayor at all. I hear a lot of support from him in the room. Obviously, he sounds like a very good guy. I do not know him. My one question is, everybody's talking about the support and everything for him and asking for a revote, but is there any potential or opportunity for him to keep his job, or is it done?
He'll get an answer in 3 days. We have 3 days. Any other comments? Yes, sir.
My name is Jeff Rogoff, 63 East Prospect Street. I haven't had the pleasure yet of meeting Mr. Mayor, but I have had the pleasure of interacting with Dr. Calzarico. And I was really pleased we hired him, and he is a person who is a professional who gives us insights as to how to move forward educationally. And so it means a lot to me when I heard he was supporting this. I understand personnel decisions are difficult to talk about, but from where I stand, and I don't know the personnel decision allegedly, but I do know it speaks volumes to me when someone like the superintendent, when someone like the principal of the school is supporting it, and it just really causes a lot of concern from at least me, and it sounds like a lot of members of the public as well. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other comments? Seeing none. Any comments from trustees? Seeing none. Motion to adjourn?